What is a woman?
Who identifies as a woman?
What is that thing? You can't answer the question with the question. Define woman without saying woman.
It's a social norm. Does it matter?
What is a woman? This is not a trick question, everybody. You're in college, paying for an education. What is a woman?
How about you talk to someone with media training, huh?
You don't need media training. It's not a trick.
Yeah,
What is a woman?
Who identifies as a woman?
You can't answer the question with the...
What are you talking about?
It's like...
What is
a man? The college kids of America going hundreds of thousands of dollars into debt who think it's a trick question when you ask them what a woman is.
Welcome to my channel, Outspoken Samantha. If you are new here, welcome. I would love it if you would help me to grow this channel and hit that subscribe button now. YouTube does not seem to like my channel so much, so sometimes it's hard to get that content out there to people. But if you are returning, I really appreciate you coming back, commenting on my videos, and supporting me. It means the world. And I know I haven't reminded you guys in a while, but if you do not have an account on Rumble, please go make one and subscribe over there. Everything I post here does go on Rumble as well as Twitter, Facebook, though Facebook isn't exactly free speech either. So I'm just trying to make sure that if censorship does get cracked down on and we see more restrictions on where we can post certain topics and discussions, I just want to make sure that I can stay connected with you guys and that we can continue to have these conversations about these important topics. And if one area goes down, at least I can, stay connected with you in another area. So I think most of us are well aware at this point that the world has absolutely gone insane. It is absolutely astonishing to me that we have all of these kids paying so much money to go to college. These are supposed to be the future leaders of America, yet we are having conversations like, what is a woman? And this is obviously a subject that I have covered extensively on my channel, trying to get people to realize that this is an idea that is based in delusion. It's encouraging people to think that they can just make up words and they can make up identities and then use those as some kind of official identity in society. And not only that, force people to go along with those identities and those made up words and descriptions. This, of course, is eliminating the idea that language matters and that definition matters and that reality matters and science matters. It's not just a matter of using words that align with certain things, but the fact that by saying that we have to comply in certain areas by using words that don't actually mean what you're describing, but using them to describe that thing anyway, that we are eliminating our entire foundation of reality and truth and facts. And that has widespread implications to pretty much everything that we deal with, whether it be laws or whether it be discrimination or whether it be policy or whether it be private spaces or private areas. This has a wide-reaching effect. It is not just about the words that we use. So, it does get a little bit frustrating sometimes for people to think that it's just as easy as saying these things, when in fact, this is something that has an impact on literally everything, and it is only growing. And while usually I touch on very serious things when I am talking about this particular subject, sometimes I think it is important to bring in the next level of insanity. One, because it's absolutely hilarious, but two, because it calls these people out and makes them realize that boundaries are important, that reality is important, that you do have to draw a line in the sand somewhere, and that if they can draw a line in the sand, then that means that they can't call us hateful and bigoted for drawing our lines in the sand. But they will do everything in their power to not have to draw those lines because they have spent so much time and energy calling the rest of us bigots and transphobes and homophobes and fatphobes and whatever other name that they can think of to avoid having to have an actual conversation about the implications of all of these things. They don't want to be seen in that space or having to implement exactly the same things like lines and boundaries that we talk about all the time, because then they have to admit that boundaries, science, facts, and reality matter. So I saw this video on Twitter the other day and I was just laughing. So apparently this is an online Zoom meeting for people that are queer and fat. And we're going to see what happens when somebody joins this group. And I honestly don't know if this person was trolling this group or if they literally have these beliefs about themselves. And I guess that says a lot about where we're at as a society right now, when we can't tell the difference between when someone is joking and when they are being serious, because insanity is now the new reality. But ultimately, at the end of the day, the point was made that words matter, that definitions matter, that you can't just declare something about yourself and have it be so and force other people to go along with it. And people do have the right to say, no, I am not going to comply with your version of reality or whatever it is that you have going on in your head. So let's have a watch, because I'm pretty sure you guys are going to find this just as amusing as I did.
This is a queer fat club.
I'm queer and fat.
Okay, thank you for joining. We're just introducing ourselves at the moment.
Okay.
Do you want to go ahead and introduce yourself, Joe?
Yeah, my name's Joe. I go by he, they, and I identify as 275 pounds. I feel like Jay's kind of making fun of me, though. I know it's kind of a shock. I know. Kind of a new thing.
I'm just,
Do what?
I said I apologize.
Oh, no, you're good.
Are you comfortable leaving the group at the moment?
Why?
I'm not understanding why you're joining the group.
This is the queer and fat group now?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I came here for.
Okay. And you said you identify as fat?
Yeah.
Okay. This is just for fat-bodied people.
Yeah, I understand. I identify as a fat-bodied person.
I'm not understanding where you're coming from.
Are you guys comfortable with me here? I mean, I'm pretty chill on my end.
I'm not comfortable, no.
Can we take like a vote?
I don't even think I need to ask if anybody is seeing the irony in this situation. And again, I don't know if he is trolling these people or if he is being serious, but everybody else in the group is 100% serious about this being a queer fat club. And I think, of course, the first obvious question is if a man can identify as a woman or a woman can identify as a man, and that makes it legit.
I don't marry two men or two women.
If she's a man, then how did it give birth to our son?
You gave birth to a little black child.
Yes.
They can pass as the opposite sex, and they can get into all of the spaces that have the signs and the labels that align with the sex that they are claiming to be, and they can abide by the laws that have that particular verbiage that describes them in that way. If they can do all of these things and truly live as a man or a woman, obviously the first question is, if a man can call himself a woman and demand that everybody else call him a woman just because of what's going on in his head, or vice versa, even though it is disproportionately men identifying as women and infiltrating women's spaces, and we are all supposed to just pretend that this automatically makes him a legitimate woman just because of what he says. If a person can do that, why can they not say, I identify as a fat person? Why would the words, I identify as fat, not make it so? In the same way that saying, I identify as a woman apparently makes you a woman. How is it any different for a man to walk into a woman's locker room, as we have seen happen at Planet Fitness, with no discernible changes, even, some pictures of men going in there and not even trying to present themselves as women, but just saying that they're a woman? How is that any different than this kid sitting down and saying, I identify as somebody who weighs 275 pounds? And not only that, there's enough delusion in this group to believe that you can be someone that goes by he, they, or ze, zer, or any of these pronouns that don't make any sense and do not reflect biological reality or any kind of reality whatsoever. So there's enough delusion there. But then they have to draw the line and say, I can call myself whatever words I want, but it is too far for you to join this group and say that you identify as someone that weighs more than you do. And then if this girl can step in and say, hey, are you comfortable leaving the group? And when he says, no, why do I have to leave? This is my identity. And she says, okay, well, you need to leave the group. How is it that women are not allowed to say that same thing to men who come into their bathrooms or locker rooms or into their sports or any other area where they biologically do not belong and that their characteristics don't align with what the truth is? And then she says this is just for fat-bodied people. This means the people whose bodies are actually overweight, meaning women. She's giving you permission to tell men that come into the locker room or invade your space in any way and say this is for women who actually just have the body and the biology of a woman. The whole point, obviously, is that when you accept delusion and when you take even one step out of reality, then you lose your ability to draw your line anywhere, because delusion doesn't have any limits. If you can just think of something in your brain and you expect society to suddenly abide by that thing, then your imagination is the limit. Whatever you can think of is the limit. And if you start telling people that whatever they imagine is okay and that it's discriminatory for people to not accept that, then you don't have a right to enforce your limitations. You don't have a right to enforce limitations on anybody if delusion is the standard. And once you start enforcing those limits, then suddenly you become exactly the people that you claim whose beliefs are based in bigotry, whose beliefs you believe are based in hate. You start engaging in exactly the same thing that you are telling other people that they cannot do. And then you expose the fact that all of us need to operate on reality, that reality is actually beneficial, that there is a reason that we say that if you're a biological woman, you are a woman, if you are a biological man, you are a man, that there are a reason for these things, and the adherence to those things is not based in any kind of discrimination or dislike or desire for harm on anybody else. Please let me know your thoughts on this in the comments below, because I'm sure that there are all of the thoughts to be had. Make sure you hit that like button, leave your comments below, even if it's just an emoji, because all of those things really do help more than you know. Make sure that you are subscribed so you can help me to grow this channel. Let me know if there's ever anything that you particularly want me to talk about or any things that you want to share. My email address is in the description box. Keep it real, guys, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.